in. I'm Lainey.
And I'm Laura Beth.
And we are Steel Magnolias.
Two sisters who love family, traditions, and all things Southern.
We've got plenty of room at our table, so pull up a chair.
Hey, Lainey.
Hi, Laura Beth.
Well, we had a very Nashville week, didn't we?
We sure did.
We ventured down to the Station Inn this past week to see
fun.
Rob Ickes and Trey Hensley.
And boy, they just do not disappoint. I tell you.
So good.
They're so good.
If you don't know their names, you've probably just heard the opening music of our podcast, which came from Rob, and we're so grateful for him letting us use that. But yeah, they were so talented.
I mean, yeah.
So Rob plays the dobro. And
mostly. He plays lots of things, but
true.
mostly.
Yeah. Award-winning, Grammy-nominated.
He's won, I think, more international bluegrass awards than any other artist, I think they said.
Yeah. And here we are in these, bajankety tables that are uneven.
Yes.
Every time I touched the table, I was like, it was knocking our drinks. In old, chairs and probably 75 people max were there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was full.
Yeah. Because it's a small venue. And I love that it's even still there because the Gulch in Nashville has gone up around it.
Yeah.
All these chic restaurants and bars and stuff. And this is still, since 1974, been this small little...
And you can totally tell
venue.
From the outside facade. You're like, that's clearly an old building. Yeah. What's that? Station Inn. If you haven't gotten a chance and you're in the Nashville area, I highly recommend checking out a show there. They typically start kind of late. I mean, I ramped up for our 9 o'clock
in
start
college.
time.
That didn't sound so late, did it?
No, but yeah, we, and we caught 3/4 of the set, and we could have stayed out, even later. But it being a weeknight, we did need to get home. So anyway, just
great
wanted to mention if you get a chance to
see. Fiddle player joined them.
Oh yeah,
she was amazing.
She plays for Blake Shelton right now.
Yeah, has played with many artists, but there was just so much talent on that stage. It was awesome.
A friend of ours, Bethany, that when she first moved here, that was kind of one of the places people told her to go. And I don't even remember if she paid much of a cover charge to see whoever she was seeing that night, because she was really just going to go to the Station Inn.
To the venue, yeah.
And they were like, well, we want to invite our good friend up to the stage. It was Dolly Parton.
No!
Yeah.
Sorry if I screamed at
I mean...
Oh my goodness.
So she's been in Nashville for this girl that was there, a week or so. And she's like, is this normal? No, that is not normal. So if you go to the Station Inn, you're very likely to see some great music and talented artists, but that would takes the cake.
Yeah.
I've never run into Dolly anywhere yet.
Well, I did get to see Dolly a few years back at the Ryman, and
that's
was
the right venue
epic.
For sure.
It was so epic, and I was with Tammy, who's such a fan that she was weeping through some of the songs. I mean, it was awesome.
Music's touching.
It is, and Dolly can write a song like no other.
I know. She's dear to all the Southerners' hearts for sure. Right. Well, we have. A silly show planned today. Back when we first started doing this podcast, we were asking some people that were new to the area, what are some observations about the South that you noticed
that you think are unusual?
Yeah. And a friend that moved here from California last year, her response was the Jurassic Park size mutant bugs. That was her observation. And so that's not the first time I've heard people comment on pests in the South. And every area has their pests.
Of course.
Nuisances. But we thought we need to talk about some of the various critters and creepy crawlies and just general nuisances that we have in the South that we have to deal with. So
that's what we're going to tackle today.
That's what we're talking about. So if you are one that's afraid of spiders and just squirm at even me mentioning it, you may want to come back to us next week. But I think this will be really fun.
I think it's going to be a hoot because we as we've told you before, we don't discuss everything we know a topic, but this is real conversation.
Absolutely.
That happens real time.
We test the microphone to make sure it's working, and then we just start here.
And we go.
We hit record.
So, and I also want to preface by saying we're not saying that I'm not saying these critters are exclusive to the South.
No.
These are just some that are prevalent in the South. They may have them elsewhere or all over the world.
Or they're just bigger.
Or they're bigger here.
Like, I did read a quote that snakes, spiders, gators, roaches, and seemingly all other pests are bigger and more scary in the South than they are in the North.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder, I think so often, though, heat goes with that. Like, things grow. You know what I mean? Like, things grow in heat.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway.
Yeah, so this may feel like a bit of a departure from our holding on to the good of the South, but we just felt like it needed to be discussed. We got a ton of new people moving to the South, and we are here to equip you and prepare you for all that you might encounter. The good and the bad.
So where do we start?
Well, I mean, I'll start with an easy one, just because I'm literally sitting here scratching a mosquito bite.
Mosquitoes.
The
mosquitoes.
I didn't even realize that's what I've been doing as we've been talking the whole time. They're always near my ankles, and I always have at least 2 per leg in the summer. Because if they're out, they're on us.
Well, I want to start. If we're going to talk mosquitoes, I found this funny essay about mosquitoes.
Okay.
And I just want to read just the opening line. This is written by Daniel Wallace, and I think it's so funny. The mosquito is the devil's house pet. When Satan lost his footing and fell from heaven, God let him retain a few powers to better test our faith, and the mosquito was one of them. You won't find that in the scriptures specifically, but it's implied.
I agree.
This goes on to be a really funny essay, but
I agree.
Seem like it's straight from the pit of hell.
They are. And it's so frustrating too, because 9 times out of 10, if I think I'm good, like, I haven't seen any out, and it never fails. I come in with bites. So I have to put bug spray on.
So that's the best prevention, right?
Yes.
Spraying before you go out.
Yeah.
Because they're just so tiny.
Yes.
It's not like you're necessarily going to see them. In fact, the smaller ones, to me, bite more.
Bite the worst.
The really big ones, I don't feel like really bother.
That?
I don't know. I have no idea on the why, but
that's strange.
Anyway, it is
but
strange.
I think I would fully agree. And I mean, not to mention the fact that they're disease carrying.
Absolutely.
We're not talking about just the fact that it's an annoying bite that you're scratching all week.
Yeah, this can be, it's one of the deadly ways that diseases spread.
Yeah.
Is through the mosquito. In fact, I also wanted to mention mosquitoes are different in different parts of not that the mosquito itself is different, but it's my understanding that you kind of get used to the ones in your area.
Okay.
So I have to share the story of when I went to China last year.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I got some mosquito bites there.
Yes.
Well, I know now from reading about this, it's not unusual to have an allergic reaction to a mosquito bite when you're in a different part of the world.
That makes sense.
Because what they carry is different.
Yeah.
So I had this terrible reaction to these mosquito bites. So, in addition to the bites, I'm having
like a
reaction to it and need an antihistamine. But I'm alone.
In China,
and I had to go to 2 or 3 different pharmacies and play charades because I don't speak any Mandarin, and they in those places weren't speaking.
So you're like
English. Yes, I'm literally
doing the
charades.
noise and then motioning that it got you on
and
your
so
skin.
they give me this. Yes, it was It was so embarrassing. Talk about humbling.
Yeah,
and I was really getting a good taste of what it must be like for people who are a stranger in a strange land.
Absolutely.
Because that's what I was. But anyhow, the first pharmacy I went in, they give me this cream in a tube. I can't read the letters on it or anything. So I'm just like, okay, I guess I'll just put some on there. Well, basically, I think that was kind of like a Neosporin kind of a cream.
Okay.
So that was fine for the actual bite, but it wasn't helping with the reaction.
Yeah.
So what I finally ended up having to do was get a translator to go with me to the pharmacy to talk to him, and I was able to get an antihistamine.
Okay.
But
and you also made up your own little salt scrub.
I did
while you were there, which salt scrub helps tons. Not
can't be sugar.
Cannot be sugar.
It has to be salt. There's something about that salt that really helps dry it up.
Yes.
So but again, that was helping with the bites, not the reaction I was having.
Yeah.
But yeah, mosquitoes carry malaria, yellow fever, West Nile, dengue fever, and even the Zika most recently virus. So big. Which has
been along our southern coast primarily, and then down into the Caribbean. There's been a lot of Zika carrying mosquitoes, which for pregnancy is even detrimental for that. Like you can't be messing around with this. Yeah. So it's not just an annoyance or a nuisance.
Yeah, we're not saying that this is all laughable. Like some of it's serious.
But, I mean, mosquitoes can kill an outdoor cookout like no other.
That's so true.
Everybody starts moving in. If there's not bug spray available, or
if the event's exclusively outside, they may just be leaving.
They're leaving.
Yeah,
I'm leaving. If I'm not prepared, I'm not just going to stand there and get taken like that. So mosquitoes have to be on the list.
Yeah, get
towards the top.
Yeah, I pretty much always, when I have something and we're outside, I just put the spray out there because people are going to need it.
Yeah.
So.
And then I would say just another real easy one is flies.
Oh.
The flies have been horrible this summer. I'm killing on average 2 to 3 a day.
And I've noticed, I've told you this before, anytime I grill or smoke on the deck, it's like the fragrance just brings them in.
Yep.
So then there again, here you're trying to have a cookout, and the good smells are bringing all the flies, and then
then here's your guests co-mingling with your flies.
And that's why, you're shooing them off the food.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I don't have any, but have you ever seen those little screens that fit over, like...
They're brilliant. Food. I've seen them in Haiti a lot.
Yeah. They are brilliant, really, because, it keeps...
For a potluck, the food's going to be sitting out.
Yeah. What about the tick? Oh my gosh, we have ticks. We have big ticks.
Those are scary too, because you can't just flick them off of you. No. You got to dispose of the tick properly.
That's right. It usually requires tweezers, which is so nasty that they go down.
If it's on your skin, for sure. If
it's on your clothes,
but you still can't just squeeze it.
And you don't want to just flick it either, because now it's just going to get on somebody else or on you
or your pet
tomorrow, or on your pet. Yeah. So when there was a country song written about...
That's so funny. I have that written down.
Check you for ticks.
Brad Paisley. I'd like to check you for ticks.
Yeah, because it's a real thing. Like when you come in from being outside in the South, you need to kind of check your
crevices.
And in the, I was mentioning things like grow in warm areas. They usually are found in warm spots.
I think everybody can figure out quickly the crevices.
Got my gist.
Yeah. So for sure you have to mention ticks.
Yeah. And it usually requires getting tweezers. I believe there's a rumor that you take it counterclockwise to get it off. That's a rumor. You just get the tweezers, pull it off.
Yeah.
Our mom used to tell me to light it on fire. I don't know if that's...
She flushed one last week. This is a real current day problem.
It is.
Or if you're real concerned, save it in a jar so that it could actually be tested to see if you've gotten bitten.
Well, if you get bit and you get that, what do they say, bullseye kind of marking,
save it.
You need to go to the doctor for sure.
Yeah.
Because that Lyme disease is a real thing.
Yeah.
And
put it in an airtight jar.
Yeah. Take it with you if you can.
Because they can test it to see if it carries Lyme disease. That's weird.
So, yeah.
Spiders. Spiders. Big ones, small ones.
Now, a lot of the big ones are actually good.
I know.
And I have to say that because they really are. Like, you want them to eat the nasty bugs.
Yeah.
And so... I don't know. If it's outside, I just let it be.
Oh, no. I'm talking inside.
But inside
is when I get all jittery around it. And I kill them all the time.
And, we have the brown recluse here in a big way. And that is very, bad if you get bites.
Yeah, we've had to put down those like sticky traps.
Okay.
In our house to see if it, to kind of preserve the spider to see what it is, basically.
Well, we had a friend who bought a house, renovated a house, and got a brown recluse infestation. And it's a big deal. I mean, it has to be bombed and stuff. Like, it's not like, usually it requires moving out to really, if it's infested. So,
all of this requires money and attention.
I know.
Therefore, it is a real problem, a real nuisance. What else is on your list?
Oh, girl. Well, we got one that I haven't always heard the name no-see-em.
Oh, dang. We got it
because
bad.
you don't see them.
Right.
But in doing a little research for the podcast, I found that there's other names.
Oh, okay.
So some people call them midges or biting midges, midges.
Never heard that. Okay.
Midges. And some are called sandflies.
Okay.
And I think it's all from the same family. There might be a few varieties of this, but...
That makes sense. So I've actually then had 2 encounters with no-see-ems.
Okay.
The first one was in Gulf Shores, Alabama. Remember?
Okay.
We were getting eaten alive.
Yes.
And we were like, what's happening? I don't even see.
Yeah. And
bugs.
it's little red bites.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the other was in sand.
Okay.
But I was way south. I was in the Caribbean. But I was standing watching an outdoor concert, so we were standing around in the sand longer than I would normally be standing in sand. And that night, I was eaten alive.
Oh, wow.
I could not even sleep. I was just up itching. My leg, like everything from the knee down. Like you would have thought I was standing in knee-high sand, but... Yeah, that's where they were lingering. So sandflies, that makes sense.
Or midges or no-see-ems. Like, I believe that's all one family. But, yeah. So, I guess you do the same thing with the spray. It might help keep them away. I don't know. They're so tiny. I don't know if that would even work.
Yeah.
But that's a real thing that is a major nuisance.
My little trick for these these mosquito or no-see-em type bites is I have to take my fingernail, and just do like an X mark on it. For some reason, that relieves it, at least for a little bit.
It makes it hurt so bad that at least it's not itching. It does.
It's kind of like branding in pain, and then the itching subsides for a little bit.
Well, my favorite salt scrub they don't make anymore, which isn't that frustrating when you find an amazing product and you use it for a few years and then they just stop.
You've probably told everybody about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So that happened to me. So if you know of a great salt scrub, I've tried sugar scrubs. Not going to work, but
I know
I need a new one.
Good one.
Do you have a good one?
Yeah. I don't know the brand, though.
Okay.
I got it on Amazon. Do you remember also, speaking of Gulf Shores, when we were camping?
In a tent.
Tent camping.
And I thought for sure there was a bear. Because I could hear such noise. Is this the story you're talking about?
Yes. And you were up late night.
I was reading The Firm with a flashlight because it had just come out, and I don't know if I've ever been as into a book as that book. But anyway, I thought there was a bear outside the tent because it was so loud.
And then, so you had us all get, like me, you, and Mom, we like rushed to the car, right?
I think I remember this, and then we turned on the headlights, because now at least we're in the car, and we're safe. And it was
an armadillo.
An armadillo.
Right? And there it went.
Yeah. But
ugly-looking thing. I don't know if I see... Well, I guess the possum and the armadillo, I feel like I tie for seeing those in roadkill.
Yeah, they both... I think it has to do... Well, I heard something about the armadillo sometimes will, in fear, jump...
Oh.
And then it ends up getting even more likely hit because of the... Anyway, I don't know if that's true. But I didn't used to see those in Tennessee very much. Like that one
have they migrated?
They seem to be coming. So...
Because I see them all the time now on the roads here in Middle Tennessee. Dead.
Most of the time dead.
Roadkill.
It's so odd because it looks like a possum in an armor suit.
It sure does.
I think they must be cousins.
It sure does.
Northerners, they may be coming your way because they didn't used to be here. I don't know.
Yeah. So they're not so much a nuisance other than they're just around and they get hit and then
Yeah.
Or they're scary if you're camping and they come up
and
on you.
I have to tell you, I've always been kind of grossed out by the possum because,
yes,
I've had occasionally cats I've fed that were outside, and then the possums are eating the food.
Yeah.
And, they hiss at you and stuff. But I want to actually make a statement about the possums. Apparently, they eat hundreds and thousands of ticks.
Oh, really?
And so for really the amount that they bother me, I mean, it's supposedly pretty amazing how many ticks they eat.
Okay.
So I'm kind of willing to coexist with them. That just
gave them some points. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't really come around much unless there's food.
Right.
That's the only time I've seen one on the deck.
You've had one hiss at you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah. They can be, It's just because if you're coming at them while they're eating or something, which it was eating cat food I had out. When I came home the other night was it Station Inn night? Yeah, it was, because I'm not usually out that late.
Yeah.
I started to come in the back door instead of the front. There was a skunk in the backyard.
That was going to be my next one.
So I came in the front because I just thought I don't want to interact with that.
Our area is so invaded with skunks that I remember anytime driving growing up from Nashville into where we live in the Brentwood and Franklin area.
Oh, you would know you were in Williamson County.
Yeah, you would cross the county line and you could already smell skunks. Like on the interstate or any road. Like it's just like, yep, we're now in our county because I can smell skunks.
I don't know what it is. Now, I know what they like here is they love to eat the birdseed that's fallen out from under the feeders.
Really? Okay.
And especially if there's sunflower seeds and stuff, they like that.
Okay.
So the times I've seen them is because they're under my bird feeders.
Okay.
I saw Miss Campbell had caught one in a trap.
Yeah.
Under her bird, and I noticed it was under her bird feeders.
Okay.
So I think that they like to eat that, and there might be...
And for having their babies, they like getting under houses, too.
Yeah, or we had a skunk have a whole slew of babies in our wood pile in Brentwood, in Brentwood South. Because I asked Mom and Dad if I could get one de-skunked.
Yeah.
Like get the sack taken out at the vet and keep one as a pet.
Yeah.
Our dad was like, I'm not paying to take a sack out of a skunk for you to have for a pet. There's no way that's happening. So... Which, if anybody knows my dad, they know he would never pay to do something like that.
No way.
But,
yeah. I mean, like, I had a neighbor just recently, sometime last year. She had a skunk that kept coming and going under her house. And she was a renter. And she couldn't figure out if it was just one skunk or if there were others. Mm-hmm. So her landlord had her like setting up cameras.
No way.
Yeah, because before they really tackled the problem, they had to figure out like how big is the problem.
Okay.
It was quite the undertaking.
What's interesting about when they're under a house is if a cat comes around or any other thing and it sprays, your whole house smells like skunk for a long time.
Through the vents and everything.
Through the vents. It can get in the fabric of the sofa. You know, the smells.
Yeah.
It's bad.
I mean, we've had animals that have gotten sprayed.
Yeah.
Dog. Dixie the cat.
So I think actually skunks are kind of cute just in their look.
They are.
But they can be rabid.
That's true too.
Skunks, raccoons, I think, raccoons can be rabid too.
Yeah.
And while we're on that, we do have a lot of raccoons. In fact, it's the Tennessee state animal.
That's true.
But with that opposable thumb that they have, they're really able to open things, pull things.
They get in trash bags like a human would.
Yeah. It's amazing how they can open things. So that can
definitely nocturnal creatures.
Yeah.
For sure. Squirrels can be nuisances.
Oh, don't even get me started. Because people think they're so cute. That's not what I see. I see like a rodent with a fluffy tail.
Ladies had like an all-out war with squirrels in her backyard.
On my bird feeders.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've ruined another one. It's broken now. I mean, That's probably at least 4 that I've had to throw in the trash because
they're heavy and those bird feeders aren't meant for weight,
or they just chew through.
Yeah,
like they've got enough strong enough of teeth to chew through things. It's so frustrating.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I had squirrels.
Now I'm not the type that's going to shoot them. Like some people, shoot them.
No,
I don't do anything like that. I just get frustrated and anyway. Okay,
go ahead.
Stink bugs.
Oh my gosh, that was my next one. Is that your next one? I literally was going to say stink bugs.
I hate the stink bug.
I didn't even realize that the stink was coming from the bug for a long time.
Squish it. Just throw it.
I used to, and I'd be like, "This is so
strangest
gross."
Smell.
Yeah.
So of course, boys love to throw them on you and things in the South.
Yeah.
Boys being boys.
Yeah.
But it looks like it has a little shield on its back.
It does.
The shape is funny.
It does look like a shield.
But I know now, just loosely pick it up and throw it outside if it's inside the house because you don't want to.
Yeah, it's not going to bite you.
No.
But it's going to smell if you squish it. It's going to smell real bad. Such a little bug with that potent of a little gas line coming out. I was like, what the heck?
Who would have guessed?
Okay, cockroaches. Here's what's so interesting, though. Like, there's cockroaches that fly.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't happen in other places. That's like a southern cockroach.
Okay, well, I do know that there's a couple of different kinds. There's a German cockroach, which apparently is smaller.
Okay.
And likes filth.
Oh, okay.
Like trash and stuff.
We're both like snarled up.
If you could see our faces right now, I can hardly even say. Yeah. The American cockroach, however, is larger, but is more of like a water bug, is my understanding.
Okay.
So that's what you see more often.
Okay.
In a clean house. It's not a matter of filth.
Oh, it's like water.
It can be a clean house, but it's a water issue. So you might have like an area where either there's some mildew or you could have an area of water that's like a shower that's not used much.
So even the good old roach motel may be, like that term, roach motel, may be water based.
I don't know, maybe, or it may
both
not get
Germans
cleaned.
and American cockroaches.
They're all just mixed up. But it doesn't matter what the breed, they're nasty.
They're gross. And everything around that whole
and the flying
species,
thing, I'm not one that screams very much about bugs. That brings
terror.
It's terror. that's more than nuisance. That is terror. Yeah. A funnier one. Are you done with that one?
Yes.
The June bug.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that they bite or anything. They don't bite,
no.
They've got that hard shell.
Yeah.
So, like, if they fly into something, it's like a sound.
Yeah.
But I just remember Mom talking about how they would tie string.
Yeah. They, like, messed with them.
And, like, it's almost like had fun, like watching it fly with the string hanging on its legs.
Yeah. That sounds good.
I didn't really play with them enough to.
Yeah.
I used to have roly-poly races, but those just kind of curl up, so that wasn't any big. But I've never tied a string on any bug's legs.
Roly-poly races. Okay, speaking of terror, snakes.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and we've got some doozies in the South.
This is real, yeah. Snake bites hit a record high in southern states this year.
Is that right?
I put an article up on our Facebook page not too long ago. 39% of reported snake bites, come from North Carolina, Georgia, Texas, and Florida.
Wow. Okay.
So, yeah, watch out.
Well, we have rattlesnakes here.
Yeah.
We have copperheads.
Yeah.
Can be a deadly bite. Water moccasins. Lots of different kinds of snakes.
This article said copperheads represent the vast majority of bites in those states I just mentioned.
Okay.
That's so scary.
It is scary.
And of course there's like garden snakes that,
Actually, there again,
they're good.
You kind of want those because they kill the mice and stuff.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I had one. So we've been in this house 19 years.
Okay.
And I think I've only seen 3 snakes total in this yard.
Okay.
But one time I had several bags of mulch piled up and they sat outside for, a week or 2.
Yeah.
And so I'm finally going to spread my mulch, and I pick up a bag and spread it, and pick up another bag and spread it, and then go to get another bag, and I pick it up, and in between the bags is a coiled snake. I couldn't even scream. It was just, but they like the warmth of crawling in there and how warm it was in between the bags.
So it was coiled, and then was its head up?
Well, it's because I had lifted the thing up.
It
so
was
now
completely
it's
flat and coiled.
Yeah. Okay. And I didn't kill it. I knew it was not it didn't have a triangle head or anything. It was just some kind of a garden snake. But nonetheless, when something's looking at you with that tongue out, it's just so creeper. And we have those rat snakes, which are great. You don't want to kill those. They're usually pretty long too. And
there's
and one of them I saw was one of those. It was in the front, and it was just a rat snake.
Yeah,
it was very long though.
Yeah,
yeah. I wish y'all could see our body language right now.
I'm so tense.
We're so clenched.
My fists are made while I'm talking about this. Yeah. Ugh. I don't know what else to say about snakes except good luck to you if you encounter one.
Well, yeah. I mean, the rattle, you're going to know that it's a rattlesnake because that sounds pretty clear. But it wouldn't be a bad idea if you're new to the area to look up what a couple of the venomous ones look like just so you would know.
Yeah.
Some people say they don't give time to know. They just cut its head off or whatever. But I don't know. That's a lot of energy goes into doing that.
That's true.
Whew.
I'd have to really build myself up to cut a snake's head off.
I know. Well, something that we don't have to see quite so often is the cicada.
Oh, yeah.
Did you think of the cicada?
Well, actually, just as we were talking, I didn't write it down, but...
I guess that... I don't know where all they have that.
Yeah.
But those are... Some are every 13 years, some are every 17 years.
Yes.
But they make that sound. It's a weird screeching kind of a mating call.
But in unison, for sure.
Yeah.
It's very symphonic sounding.
Yeah. It's wild. And then the other thing that's so wild about it is that they leave their shell... And their shell, in their full shape, just stays.
That's right.
And so, that's so funny looking.
Yeah.
Because you just see this outer shell.
Yeah.
It's a full form, but empty. It's just odd.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's something in the ecosystem that will eat that. I don't know.
Right.
What, but I'm sure something does.
Snake comes along. Shoo.
In fact, I think I told you this, but... One time, I was in the car with our dad, and we were riding down the interstate, and there was this whole big bunch of buzzards that were eating something dead on the road, and I was like, "Oh, that's so nasty!" And Dad said, "That's just God's cleanup crew."
It kind of is, though,
and
right?
I thought, isn't that interesting that there is something that always eats something else?
That's true.
It's so odd.
Yeah.
Anyhow. What you got next on your list?
Well, I mean, mice.
Yeah.
That is so difficult because, I've set many a mouse traps.
Oh, yeah.
And I have to, gear up if
when
the
you
mouse
hear it go off.
Yes.
I know.
I don't want to see it, but typically I've had to because there's really no way around it.
That's the thing is you hope it's dead because it's even worse if it's not.
Yes.
Yuck.
Yeah, so you haven't lived until you've set a mouse trap, I guess.
Now, I will say I've never had a rat.
No.
I've only had a couple, a few mice.
Yeah.
I came across in reading for this podcast another critter I had never heard of. Called a nutria, Nutria.
Okay.
Nutria. It's a semi-aquatic rodent, and they have them in places like Louisiana.
Oh, okay.
And so it was interesting looking because the face looked almost like the beaver with the long front teeth, and it can stay underwater for a long time, but it's pretty destructive. And there was one point in time, oh gosh, I didn't write the statistic down, but they said there was like 6,000 per square foot in a certain area of South Louisiana. And I thought, that's infestation too. Infestation. That's terrible.
Whew.
And we do have beavers, and I think they're so cute, but if people have had dams built that messed up their water system, they don't think they're very cute because they're builders.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing they do. Well, you know what I didn't mention that I had jotted down when you were talking snakes?
Yeah.
Is in the Everglades of Florida, they have a Burmese python problem. And it will eat mammals.
Oh, my gosh.
Big mammals. They can eat some pretty large mammals. So that's not anything we have in most of the South.
Right. Or
alligators.
Now gators. Yeah, alligators. Not necessarily in our neck of the woods, but that's real.
That's real.
Running a zigzag, right?
That's what I've heard.
That's how you're supposed to get away if
that's what I've heard.
Running from a alligator.
So crazy. Yeah. I saw one at the zoo this weekend, or on Friday, and that's close enough for me.
Did you make eye contact with it?
No, and it wasn't even all that big. I mean, doesn't have to be all that big. Oh, and speaking of that, I saw one time a video of a woman in Florida who came into her house. Actually, I said a video. It was just a picture. It wasn't a video. An alligator had come through her dog door. And it was in the kitchen.
Nope. No, thank you. Yeah.
And 2 houses up from me, there was a lady that had a dog door, and she had a raccoon in her bathtub when she went to get in her tub one day.
Oh, my gosh.
Because it was wanting the water, and I guess had come in the dog door and made its way to a nice, cool place.
In her bathtub.
So, people, these are not normal things that happen, but if you have a dog door...
We've had several stories already of just touches.
If you have a dog door, anything can come in, not just your dog that's coming and going. So just be mindful of that.
Oh my gosh. I don't really know that I need to mention a lot of these other ones, but
I just have
there's more.
One more that I want to mention that I think is a big deal, even though it's a tiny bug.
Okay.
Do you want me to do that one? Have you ever heard of a boll weevil?
A boll weevil?
Yes.
No.
So my first knowledge of that bug was in college. College is an interesting time because you're sometimes eating meals on a meal plan, occasionally cooking, though you don't really know how to cook a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, some people do, but a lot of people don't know.
For the most part, you're on
cooking
for the first time.
Well, I had a friend who had got boll weevils in her flour. So she probably had this flour and didn't use it very much, and it had been sitting.
Okay.
And when she goes to use it, it's kind of moving.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
So she didn't know what it was and found out it was boll weevils.
Okay.
Well,
literally, my back is, kind of itching just listening to this.
I later heard about a horrific cotton infestation that happened in the South in the early 1900s, and it was boll weevils.
Oh.
And so if anybody's in farming, probably any kind of farming, but certainly cotton farming, you would be absolutely familiar with the boll weevil.
Okay.
It's horrific for them. So just to give a couple of statistics here, this is a quote from Dominique Reisig, who's a professor of entomology at North Carolina State University. He said, "I cannot think of another insect that's displaced so many people, changed the economy of rural America, and was so environmentally injurious that everybody clearly rallied around and said, we have to get rid of it."
Wow.
So there is major policies and things that have been done to try to eradicate this bug.
Okay.
Another thing I wanted to read here. The weevil has cost the American cotton industry more than $23 billion in losses and prompted the largest eradication effort in the nation's history.
Oh, my gosh.
So
That's crazy. 23 billion
in the whole cotton industry over time. That's a huge deal.
That's huge.
So in the South, in the early 1900s, there was a lot of people that lost everything with this plague that went through the cotton. And it was from this boll weevil.
Oh, my gosh. So, because that would have been a lot of people's sole income.
Absolutely.
So if that's not,
that's all they were growing.
Yeah.
And so when it got wiped out, everything was wiped out.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's a pretty big deal in the South.
Yeah.
But I wanted to mention one city in particular that I just think this is so interesting. There's a city in Alabama called Enterprise, Alabama.
Okay.
They have a monument to the boll weevil.
Wow.
And the reason they have a monument to the boll weevil is, and by the way, that's the only monument that's ever been raised up in America for an insect, is my understanding. It is their way of kind of giving a nod to this bug that infested their crop, but also in saying if that hadn't happened, we wouldn't have diversified in growing other things, and they came to grow a whole bunch of peanuts and things like that.
I just looked it up.
So this is, there's a little sign next to that woman, that statue.
It's a woman holding up
the boll weevil.
The boll weevil.
A big boll weevil.
Oh my gosh.
And then there's a sign to the boll weevil. Anyhow, that was kind of their nod of this bug tried to take us out, and we then diversified into other things, including, like I mentioned, peanuts and some different things. So
now that's preserving the good and finding the good in what was meant for evil.
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
That's right.
The sign says, in profound appreciation of the boll weevil and what it has done as the herald of prosperity, this monument was erected by the citizens of Enterprise.
Isn't that a hoot? I think in 1919 is when that went up. So anyhow, I thought that was just a funny thing to take that horrific bug that's so destructive and kind of shape them into doing other things, and we're not going to rely just on this. And
I love it.
That's such with life, right?
Yes.
We can get mad and bitter about what's happened and just sit in that, or we can try to move on.
That's right.
And push through the hard stuff and find the good.
Yeah. And the other beautiful thing that the South came forward with from having all these nuisances is the beautiful screened porch.
That's right.
That's
right. Keep us away from some.
Yeah.
Still get our air ventilation.
Yeah.
In fact, many of them have the fans too, which help keep the bugs away.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to have that one past us.
Y'all may think we're crazy for talking about these ugly critters.
The creepy crawlies.
And the creepy crawlers, but
you
got to talk about it.
People need to know. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Steel Magnolias podcast. And hope you guys have enjoyed listening along. And
hopefully laughing along with us, because I'm sure you have your stories of bug infestations too.
Woo! Yeah. All right, y'all have a good week, and we will see you back here next time.